In this video, I'm going to show you the 2 core steps to trail riding with confidence, and they're the second of 3 pillars in my virtual dirt biker school. The problem that I'm seeing more often with trail riders is that they only do one or the other, or neither at all, because they're unsure what is right or wrong. But when you don't put step 1 and step 2 together, you might have a little bit more confidence when riding the same trail over and over again, but you're still going to be a nervous trail rider when riding new trails where you don't know what's around the next corner. Step number 1 is the most essential when it comes to staying in control of your dirt bike on the trails. And some common mistakes that I see all the time are not learning all of the proper techniques to trail riding, or perhaps maybe learning proper techniques and trying to go out and practice them thinking that you have them, but in reality you're not, because it's easy to see a good rider do something and then when you go out and try it yourself, they feel like you're doing the same thing, but when you record yourself, film yourself doing it, you can see that, well, it's not quite the same thing. Or maybe you're used to riding a street bike or a mountain bike or jet ski or four-wheeler, and maybe you think that, well, I have good technique with those, so they'll be able to translate when riding a dirt bike. But after you ride a dirt bike on the trails, you'll quickly find out that those riding skills do not translate very well, if at all. And if you don't learn this initial step, you're not going to have as much confidence as you like, and your skills will not improve as quickly as you want, and you're going to struggle whenever you go to a new trail that you're not familiar with. So what is this first step? Well, it's learning all of the basic techniques and body position for riding a dirt bike on the trails. And what makes dirt biking so unique is that it requires such different technique and body position to stay in control. Used to riding like a street bike, you'll notice right away that the clutch and throttle are a lot more sensitive, and it takes a lot more precision to stay in control. And when it comes to body position, you need to move around the bike not only a lot more as far as distance, but as well as frequency, because if you're just sitting in the same spot, you'll quickly find out that you're going to be sliding out the tires often, or you're going to have to slow way down in order to not fall over. It's like trying to ride a bicycle for your first time. It's going to feel really awkward at first, and you don't really know what to do, but once you figure out the right motion, the right technique and body position and balance, it's going to be more and more comfortable for you, and you'll be able to ride faster and safer because you're using the proper techniques and have good balance with your body. Now, step number 2, you'll be able to have more confidence because you can use the proper techniques without having to think about it. Because I know that learning new things can be a challenge, especially if you're an older person. No offense to you, but it is easier to learn things when you're younger. So when you combine step 2 with step 1, you'll be able to be more comfortable and confident in less time, because you won't have to think about the techniques that you're using, because there's a lot going on with the clutch, the throttle, the brake, the shifting. You're using all of your body, and it's hard to enjoy riding and be comfortable without having to think about each little step that you have to do. Because if you have to think about it, you're not going to stay in control. You have to slow down, and if you're going too fast, you're riding over your skill level when you haven't done step 2. You're going to greatly increase your risk of crashing and getting hurt. Now, a couple mistakes that I see people making is thinking that, oh, I learned the basic techniques, I can go out and practice them right away on the trails. You'll realize that it's going to take a lot longer than just watching a video and then going out and trying it and mastering it right away. You watched a video that told you that, oh, you need to practice drills in order to quickly build your confidence and skills. But if you aren't combining step 1 by using the proper techniques and you're just going out and practicing those drills, you're more likely to form bad habits with your technique and riding position, and this will cause you to have less control and will hold you back from having more speed, being safer, and just being more comfortable on new trails. Like if you're practicing a figure 8 drill and you're unsure of whether you're using the correct or incorrect body position, and then you go out on the trails and you don't feel any more confident, well, that's a good sign that you're not using the right technique when practicing that drill. And step number 2 is forming positive riding habits. And what is a positive riding habit? Well, it's taking that basic technique that you learned, maybe it's learning how to ride flat corners, and then using a drill or just being intentional of repeatedly practicing the proper technique over and over again to build up your muscle memory so that you'll learn it quicker and you build the muscle memory quicker so that you don't even have to think about it. Because if you just go and practice that basic technique for a few minutes and then go out on the trail, you haven't formed that muscle memory, so you're just going to revert back to what you're normally used to doing, especially when you're trying to push your pace, ride faster, try and keep up with faster riding people. But when you are intentional of using that proper technique and forming that positive riding habit, you'll be able to feel more comfortable on turns, on hills, on any new trail, whether there's trees, tight turns, because you know where to position your body, how much throttle and clutch you need, when you need to shift without even having to think about it. It makes it safer, more comfortable, and you can ride faster while reducing your risk of crashing and getting hurt. Look, learning any new thing is going to be difficult, awkward, challenging, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. Driver's license, just think back of when you first started learning how to drive. It was probably intimidating and you're kind of unsure of yourself and you didn't know all the ins and outs of driving and paying attention to the road conditions or the weather. But compare that to 10 years later after driving, you can do everything without even having to think about it. You can talk on your cell phone, you eat a cheeseburger while reading a book and putting on your makeup, or do 10 different things at once while staying on the road. Hopefully you're not doing all that. You do things over and over and over again, in a short amount of time, you can build that muscle memory. You need to make sure that you're using the proper techniques so that you have more control and comfort. And forming positive riding habits is the second of 3 pillars that I teach in my virtual dirt biker school. And if you want to start learning the basic techniques tonight, then I encourage you to download my free basic techniques guide. You can get that in the description below, or head to motocrosshideout.com/basic. Free PDF download that you can read it. It's kind of like a checklist. It's easy to read. You can try one technique tonight that you're struggling with, go out and practice it, and see how you improve. If you do try it, let me know in the comments below.